Okay, I'm still coming along with this great big monster of a Merkaba that I'm making, which I'm going to turn into a table. And it's going to have a hexagon top. But what I am discovering about each and every one of the tetrahedrons, of which there are 8, each and every one of them has in the middle a big vector equilibrium, and to the side of it in 4 places 4 more smaller vector equilibriums. However, I was just looking at it just now, and I discovered that with the vectors that come from the center of this biggest one in the middle, it creates, if I were to form it out there, it creates another octahedron that I could put another vector equilibrium in right here in this. So here's one, and here's one. And then come down a little bit, right in here. This forms another one, and this forms another one. Oh, I'm just now noticing the 3 on the top are smaller. Or are they? Well, anyway, there's 3, 1, 2, 3. And then there's 1, 2, just 2. And then, of course, there's 1. There's 1, 2, and 3. Of course, inside of all these tetrahedrons, inside of the bigger tetrahedron, there are the 4 corners that you can go to and start the whole thing over again inside of each and every little tetrahedron. All of this is. It just morphs into first the octahedron, then the vector equilibrium, and then the big vector equilibrium in the middle that forms part of the body of these 2 that are right here. And then those 3, 1, 2, 3 here. And in the very, very center of this, I can't hardly see my center anymore, but it's in there somewhere. That is the center of a vector equilibrium too, the biggest one of them all. That's the granddaddy of them all. I like to call it the singularity. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong place. There it is, right there. I've got my name in there. Anyway, it's taking me forever, but I'm coming along with this thing. Today I worked on it about 3 or 4 hours, and I still have so much more to do. But when I get it done, it's going to be a little table. A very unusual table. And I just wanted to show people that are interested in this that I'm building how it is coming along, and how I am discovering that the Merkaba is just full of vector equilibriums and octahedrons and tetrahedrons. They're countless, really, because the ones you see that I have formed, these right here, and they're easy to see, but there are invisible ones that I haven't formed, and then there's all these corners of each of these smaller tetrahedrons that would do the entire thing this whole thing does once again, only way smaller than I can make it. And then it would go even down from, it could go down, 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 infinitely small, and be making the same pattern over and over and over and over again. And it can go infinitely big, because I can come out from this and turn it into the very same thing over and over again. And what I think is amazing about this is that I didn't make all of mine true to size, because sometimes my vectors were a little longer than they should be. But if I were just perfect with this, I would tell you that each and every one of these units is the same length. It's as if God were in the center and he had 1 unit of measurement, and he would go out and make a little place where they all meet. And there's 12 around the center one, and then there's 24 around that. It's quite symbolic, the meaning of all this. And I think it could have something to do with the structure of the vacuum and stuff like that. I don't know, but I'm learning as I go, and I'm discovering that you really don't get the feel for what geometries are doing until you physically put your hands on something and play around with it and see what it looks like in 3D with you making it. Then you get a bigger feel for it, where you wouldn't maybe get that necessarily with pencil and paper or even with a computer. But when you get intimate with this, the geometry of this, in that your hands are bleeding from bending wire around wire. Sometimes I poke myself. I mean, I'm putting my essence into this. And it's, in a way, it has its own way of speaking to me. It's secrets. Anyway, I'm just really excited about this biggest project of all that I've ever done. It's the biggest sculpture. Wire sculpture. Anyway, I just want to inform you where I was on this. Over and out from the Dove Lady.